Hey, welcome to the Day to Day podcast. I'm Garrett,
I'm Casey.
and thank you for joining us today on this very first episode. We're very excited.
I'm very excited. We put a lot of energy just to trying to get this first episode out to you guys, and I'm so excited for you guys
Yeah.
to be able to listen to it.
There have been a lot of setbacks. I think this is our third time
Yeah, our
filming this,
third time refilming this episode due to technical difficulties.
but it's okay. We're learning as we're going along. So, and talk about the perfect topic for that is we're getting into mindset today, is what the episode's going to be about.
And a little bit of how we kind of plan to achieve it.
Yeah. But we'll do an introduction on ourselves real quick. If you're curious what we're both drinking, I am drinking. It's a old smoky Tennessee salted caramel whiskey, and
Not
it
sponsored.
not sponsored. If you would like to though, that is no problem at all. But yeah, that's what I have today.
I've got a sweet Moscato for all you wine lovers out there.
There we go. I don't. There's none of that left, is there? Out there.
No.
That's okay. I still have the whiskey.
You know that's my favorite wine.
Yeah, that is true. She's a wineaholic. It's pretty bad. I don't know
That's not true.
if you guys see the mark underneath of my eye currently. Hopefully you can see it through the camera. She was drinking really heavily. No, I'm just messing with you guys. We'll get into that story a little bit later in the podcast if we have ended up having a little bit of time for it. But yeah, so today we're gonna get into mindset, but we'll do an introduction ourselves. Would you like to tell them a little bit of your background?
Sure. So I had more of an education background. I graduated high school, and I went straight into college. I originally was going to college because I wanted to go become a PA, a physician assistant. And after working in the hospital a little bit, I kind of worked one-on-one with some PAs and nurses and a bunch of other hospital staff, and I just really felt like it wasn't entirely for me. I think I I kind of just went into the career because I thought it was cool and I wanted to help people. But now I've kind of switched over to the tech side and I love that so much more. I actually um, feel like I can still help people, but I can do it behind the computer. So it's definitely a big switch. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's a little bit about me. How about you?
I definitely couldn't do it. So someone's got to do it. So thank you. But yeah, so I come from a little bit less of an education background. I passed my classes. Um, so I grew up in a small town. Ended up got my high school diploma. Did a little bit of college before I decided that the military was going to be my forte there for a little while. So I ended up signing, and I joined the Marines, and I was in the Marines for about 4 years. Um, had some good experiences, some not so good experiences, but to be expected, you know. Um, and yeah, so now I'm here. I have an amazing job. I got out not too long ago. I have an amazing job, and we've been able to start this podcast. So it's been going great. I really can't complain. So, but that's a little bit about me. Education never was my forte at all. I'm definitely a hands-on learner. So it'll be nice for everyone to kind of see, maybe you fit in a little bit more in my learning style, or maybe a little bit more in your learning style, right? And that way you guys can kind of see, what we've been doing, and kind of, because what we're trying to do with these first couple of podcasts is set the foundation, for financial success, physical. I couldn't think of physical there for like a second. Physical health,
Like health and
education.
wellness,
Yeah,
education. Yeah, pretty much anything under the sun. What we really wanted to do with this podcast is really allow you guys to follow our journey, and even if you guys want to join us in this journey to reach
yeah,
our goals, because we're just two regular people who are trying to figure out life, and I'm sure a lot of you are probably in the same boat as us. And so in the description, we actually have all of our socials as well as an email that you guys can send us questions, send us stories, advice, feedback, really anything.
yeah.
We want you guys to get involved with this podcast because, like we said, we want you guys to be along for the journey, really. So please do that. We would love to answer any of your guys' questions or read some of your guys' story on some of our future episodes.
Yeah, we really want to bring you guys along so we can see, maybe if some of the advice we're giving out for something we've done, none of this is actual, don't take this as actual financial health advice, anything like that. We're just going over experiences that we've had, what we're trying to do,
Hmm.
and how we've been setting that foundation to, try and build our dreams up on. Yeah, and so we want you guys to, be with us on that journey for our dreams, and then your guys as well. We want to hear about the dream that you have. Have you started on that journey?
Hmm.
Has this podcast given you a boost to potentially start that now? So
Maybe what's worked for you, what hasn't worked for you.
yeah,
Like all these things we would really just love to take in and maybe even learn from because we're just starting out.
yeah, really. I mean, as you can tell, I mean, we have a few more decorations still coming. We want to make this wall a little bit nicer for you guys. Um,
For those of you who are watching on our YouTube
Yeah,
channel.
if you're on Spotify and you're listening to this right now, yeah, you're not going to see the wall, but go check us out on YouTube so you can check out the wall. We're planning on getting a few more things, spruce it up back here. Sorry about the outlet. I know you guys can see it. You're probably going to leave a comment about it.
Maybe we'll hide it.
We'll hide it eventually. We'll hide it eventually. We're kind of, it's like a sit down, let's just enjoy a conversation together type of podcast. So, yeah, yeah. But you want to start us out? So today we're talking about mindset. So we're gonna set that foundation,
Yeah, why don't
for
we talk
success.
about why having a positive mindset is so important? I really feel like it's very significant in determining how our outcome's going to be. If you want to reach a goal, you got to start with a positive mindset because if you don't flip that mindset, if you don't take push away the negativity, then you're just going to constantly be putting in effort, putting in effort, putting in effort just to maybe eventually give up because the negative um, thoughts and comments that are going through your head as you're trying to achieve your goals are just weighing you down.
And I'm sure that that sometimes is the other way around too, because someone could have a positive attitude
Hmm.
about their situation, be like, I'm gonna push through this. I'm gonna be strong for my family, my friends, myself.
Hmm.
Um, and then they're staying positive about it. And I'm sure this happens all the time, but yet that situation, it just keeps looming over your shoulder, and that's when it's like, man, I just got to stay strong, because it's
Hmm.
like I already have the positive attitude. If I let this get me down, it's just gonna make this 100 times harder.
And I don't think it's all like when you're trying to achieve your goals, it's not just your mindset that's putting in work. Like you still have to have that willpower, that drive, that motivation to keep going. But I don't think that if you don't have that positive mindset, eventually I feel like you're just gonna burn out.
Yeah, and there's even if you don't have the burnout today, I mean, you can see it all around the world. The burnout is just absolutely insane. After um, everyone was quarantined for so long, it's like that really changed the world, how people saw things, and
Mhm.
that's been really tough on people because that's like, man, you're isolated for what was it, a couple of years, and
Mhm.
then it's like now
I mean,
now
it's still kind of going on too.
yeah, yeah, I know there's some people that are still dealing with that
Mhm.
fallout from everything. Um, and but yeah, so now you have someone that, had a super positive mindset, gets cooped up for like almost 2 years. You can't go out and see family.
Mhm.
You can't go out and see friends. You can't get out, get a breath of fresh air. And that talk about a setback. It's hard to get back into the flow of regaining that, like, hey, I'm ready to get back on that train, you know what I'm saying, get rock and rolling on what I was doing beforehand. So that's tough nowadays, and that's, even then it could have been tough before, and I'm sure it increased, how difficult it had become and how it is now. um
You
yeah.
know, I feel like setbacks are always going to happen. I mean, if you have a negative mindset, if you have a positive mindset, you're going to have setbacks. And but so there's this term called a fixed mindset. Pretty much what a fixed mindset is, it's like you have this ingrained like idea of like, oh, I can't do this. I'm not going to be able to do this. Whatever. And what you really want to have is what's called a growth mindset, where you can develop the ability to um, through like working hard and like putting in the effort and saying, oh, I can do this. This is just a setback right now. It's gonna suck for a little bit, but I know I can do it in the end. And so I just feel like when those setbacks do happen, people who do have those fixed mindsets get really discouraged super quickly, which um, leads to maybe them not like giving up. Maybe it leads to them giving up on their goals, not achieving them, you know?
Yeah, and I mean that makes things 10 times worse. Have you ever heard of the? I don't know if this experiment is real. I know we've talked about it before, but have you heard about the flies that they put, or not flies, fleas? They put them in this jar, right? They put the lid on the jar, right? A flea could easily have hopped out of this lid. It's like
Hmm.
a little mason jar, um, and these fleas. They put the lid on. These fleas get so used to only jumping up to the lid and then back down. Now, if this is real or not, you guys let me know. I swear I've seen this video though before. If it's fake or not, I'm not sure. But these fleas, they jump up and they keep hitting that roof, right? The top of the jar,
Hmm.
and so then eventually they come take off the lid, and none of the fleas will hop out. They literally they can jump up to where the lid was,
Hmm.
and that's the furthest that they'll ever go because that's what they've learned. That was their, as you say, like the fixed mindset of this is the furthest I can push myself. Is so they could only jump up to that level. They never got out of the jar. Um, so that's a lot of people can get stuck in that to where it's like, I know I have personally myself where it's like I'm not that great at this. I'm not gonna work at it because there's no point. I'm subpar at it, and I did that a lot in school. It's like I'm not that smart. I was like, I'm just gonna buckle down, pass my classes, not put any effort into it, and that's where, um, everything's gone well since after, but it's just the fact that I should have definitely tried harder to succeed. And then who knows where we could potentially be at today? Maybe um, I'm putting together, vehicles or something like that. And maybe I have my engineering degree or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's weird to think about, what would have changed if I wouldn't have been in
You
that
had
space.
that growth mindset,
Yeah,
yeah.
where I would have allowed myself to be better.
Yeah, it's really hard because when you do have that fixed mindset and you do have your setbacks, it really puts dents in their belief in what they could do. And you can't live by those setbacks and because if you do, it's just going to continuously bring you down. It's definitely difficult to deal with in the moment. But that's why it is so important to have that positive mindset because that's what you got to fall back on when those hard times come.
That and when you're growing too, that's like obstacles, right? So when you have to overcome an obstacle, you might not get it on the first try because you're looking at the obstacle, you're like you're studying it. It's like, okay, what is this? What's the best way to get over it or under it or around it, right? And so then that's when your mind is like, okay, this is maybe something we could do to overcome this, right?
Hmm.
Hey, just walk around it. Or hey, there I see that there's a hole underneath that wall. Just go underneath it. Or maybe it's like, hey, there's a platform up there, just hop over it. And then that's where once you get on the other side, there's obviously going to be another obstacle, but you're growing. You learned about that first obstacle, right? So you had a setback, but you didn't let it stop you. You were like, okay, this is boom, this is what I need to do to help me get over this wall. And maybe you slip off that wall, right? And then you have to try and get back over, but maybe you take a different approach. So if you're in a situation to where you're having a difficult time, it's like, man, just I can't. There's, let's use the example. You're going to school, right? You fail a test, and it's like, you know what? I'm just gonna put it. I'm gonna study this a little bit harder this weekend. I'm gonna learn it. I'm gonna make sure I understand it, and then when I go take the next test, I'm gonna make sure I do well on it, right? And then you go to take that next test. You put in all the work and the time and the effort, and then you fail it, right? But maybe your grade came up a little bit, and then and maybe it didn't, but then that's when it's like, okay, at least I understand it. I'm just going to keep pushing myself because eventually I'm going to get over this obstacle. And then it's like, boom, now you understand it. Hopefully it works out and you understand it. That's not always the case. Sometimes you just can't comprehend something. It doesn't mean you should stop trying. But then if you see someone else that's struggling, it's like, hey, I've been there. This is something I've done. maybe it could help you out.
You know, there's actually a term, it's called neuroplasticity.
Say that again.
Neuroplasticity.
Okay.
Basically, um, it means that our brains, it creates new pathways. So like when we're babies and we're figuring out all these new things, our brain is creating new pathways into how we can do things, what new things that we're learning. Um, and so when you were giving the example of like trying to study harder, whatnot, I know when I was in college, like there would be times where it's like I would study for days and days and days and I just wouldn't do well on an exam.
Yeah.
And I really feel like it was because I was studying the same exact way as what I was doing in high school. Now, in high school, I did really well. I was kind of one of those kids who didn't really have to study all that hard in high school, but when I got to
Must be
college,
nice.
when I got to college, it was a whole different story. Like
Yeah.
I had to put in so much effort just to simply get C's. And so just going back to that example, you know, you have to allow yourself to, you know, find a new way to do things. Like when I had to find a new way to study for those exams, I was creating these new pathways for my brain to grow into better understanding of the topic.
Yeah, I mean, because that's goes right back to the example of finding another route
Mm.
around a potential obstacle.
Yeah.
And it's smart. It's smart because if that isn't working for you, why not try something else? What's the worst thing that could come of it is you fail the next test, which potentially would have already been failed if you would have kept going with the same route. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So
So I guess the next question is like, how do you get into that mindset?
a positive mindset.
Yeah, how do you start getting into a positive mindset? Like, so now we understand that it's important and that we should have this and implement this into our life. But like, how do you start? I think I,
That's a heavy question.
well, I mean, I think it's very important because
Yeah.
that's the whole point of this series is that we want to figure out where to start with things, and we figured with this journey, we thought we would start with our mindset. So,
No.
um, I did a little bit of research, you know, and I found a kind of a funny tip on ways that people would combat like those negative thoughts, right?
Hmm.
And they were like, so you know how when you were like a teenager and you would like talk back to your parents, like you thought you were so cool, you would talk back to your parents and
No, my mom would have absolutely beat the crap out of me. Mom, I love you. You raised me, or I had a great upbringing, but yeah, mom definitely. That's definitely something I'd be terrified to do. I think I
well,
still am.
well, maybe not to their face, but like maybe
Oh,
behind
yeah,
closed
yeah,
doors, you'd be like, you know, you would say a few things and just kind of talking back
yeah,
to
yeah.
them and
Mom, I never did that.
yeah, I
Dad,
never did it either, mom, ever.
never.
But anyways,
My
um,
brother did everything wrong.
anyways, the article was saying that when you have those negative beliefs like that are going through your head, talk back to them like as if you're yelling back at a parent or talking back to a sibling, whatever. And that way, eventually, you're gonna challenge those negative beliefs so much that you're gonna gradually start getting into a more positive mindset and, you know, further yourself towards your goals.
That's like when you're in the gym and you're coming up on that one set and it's like, man, this, I'll take the like 10-pound weights and it's like, man, this is. I'm just joking, by the way. That's an exaggeration. Don't. Um, but you get your weights and you go sit back over on the bench and it's like, maybe you're doing shoulder press, right? And so you're going up and it's like, all right, yeah, this is going great. It's going great. You knock out those first couple of sets and it's like you get towards those last couple of sets that you're going to be knocking out. And it's just like, you start fighting back against the negative thoughts, right? It's like, all right, man, I don't want to do this. My shoulders are sore. I can feel the pump coming in, but it's like, man, I just don't want to do this. And in your head, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it depends on what kind of music you listen to, but I know when my Taylor Swift is hitting, I'm just like, And I don't even have to fight back because Taylor was fighting for me through my headphones. Taylor Swift. This isn't sponsored by Taylor Swift, but also if you,
There's that, what's that song? It's like, this is my fight song.
is that by Taylor Swift?
No, it's not by Taylor Swift. It's by
Katy
someone else.
Perry. Is it Katy
Definitely
Perry?
not. Definitely not.
Hold up. Let me look that up. I don't. Oh well, my phone's filming us right now. I don't
But
know who that's by, but I know what you're talking about.
no, that's what it reminded me of when you were like talking about like that last
Yeah.
that last set. And you need something to just motivate you
You
through
you gotta fight
it.
back against the negativity, and if someone can help you do that through your earbuds,
You're
highly
right.
suggest. Yeah, yeah. So,
Oh my gosh. Okay.
well, okay. So, but you haven't input any of like, all right, throw out a couple of gym songs. Like, what do you listen to? Like,
Gym
you got that negative thought that's like, hey, yo, you're not gonna get this shot. Like, you're a weak little
You
beep.
know,
You know what I'm
I
saying?
you know, I don't think that my gym music really fits this topic.
That bad.
Okay.
It's probably some like just classical jazz. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely not.
Do, 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 do. The saxophone, whatever. So
No, no. No, I have like those the grunge music when I when I work out. Okay, so like I always listen to like Green Day,
yeah,
all those kinds of bands.
all right.
21 Pilot, you know. Yeah, I like the rock style music.
You
It's
do,
not
yeah.
hard
You
rock, but
kind of got
it's
like
like the punk rock,
the punk
yeah.
rock.
I don't know. I feel like it pushes me at the gym.
I mean, hey, whatever works for you at the gym,
Everyone's
or
got their fix.
everyone's got their like, hey, yo, I'm about to mess this gym up right now song. So I mean, that could be Taylor Swift for someone, and that could be Skater Boy for some others.
That
So
one, we do go hard for that song. We turn that on in the car.
we do. If you ever see us on the road, don't feel afraid to join in. Like we will totally just headbanging in the car. We pull up to the red light. It's just like, yeah, yeah, this song is here right now. He was a skater boy. She said, man, I'm terrible with the lyrics. But anyway, you guys get the idea. Like I'm no vocalist. You know what I'm saying? So I don't remember who
I
sings
feel
that song. But
good.
if you would like to sponsor this video as well,
What do you mean you don't know who sings that song?
I can never remember the name.
Avril Lavigne.
That's what I was gonna say.
Uh-huh.
Swear to
Uh-huh.
goodness. If Afro Valon will sponsor this. Love the song. Great song. You gotta come out with another one. You probably have.
She actually has come out with some new songs.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't stay up to date. I'm terrible.
We are way off topic.
I'm trying to bring this back in, but you just wanted to go off on a gym tangent.
Oh yeah.
You see what I'm working with here? This is negative thoughts incoming right now.
Maybe that's something that we have to work on that.
Like I said, we're trying to get better. It's a slow process. But we're trying to stay motivated. We're rocking and rolling. We're rolling with the punches. You
Yeah,
know?
I agree. I agree.
Mm.
You know,
I'm sure you
it,
guys are as well. Yeah.
I think it's crazy how like when you do kind of keep more of those positive thoughts rolling in your brain, how much more how much confidence you have. I feel like especially after going like when I first started out going to the gym, for a while it was like I just had no confidence whatsoever. I didn't know
That
what to do and I just constantly had
yeah.
negative thoughts like, "Oh my gosh, this is terrible. Like I'm never going to actually achieve my goals that I want. Like it's not possible for me."
Yeah. Well,
Um,
there for the longest time, I had a really hard time getting you to come with me. That was like,
you
I
know,
mean, I knew you were down because it was like, you always thought, someone was watching you in there. And I
yeah.
was like, the gym, like, granted, you're gonna have people look over at you here and there. That's just, I mean, you're out in public, but I mean, the gym is really where you go to better yourself. Now, don't get me wrong, you have those folks that are at the gym and it's like they see you and they're like, man, what a piece of like, get out of here, man. You're like, you can't bench over this. It's like, get out of here. But it's like, hey, man, it's like this is where I'm coming. This place is here for a reason, right? I'm trying to be better than I was yesterday. So, but it was really difficult to try and get you to go with me. But I'm glad you did. I mean, you ended up doing a really great job.
It was really difficult in the beginning and I think it was just because like I didn't have any positive mindset. I
Yeah.
and it was constant negative thoughts just going through my head. And it was like, oh, well, even if I do try and do this, I'm just gonna look stupid while doing it, and people are gonna judge me. And not that like I really care what people think of me. It was
Yeah.
just more,
Less
I was,
confident in yourself.
yeah, I wasn't confident in myself. I didn't have any positivity towards what I wanted to work for. And I literally gave up before I even started.
And I'm gonna add something to mindset that I've always had a tough time doing is if you set smaller goals for yourself, it makes it so much easier to
Hmm.
obtain it because then it's like you can see the steps that you're taking. You can see the positive outlook. It's like, I just accomplished this. Let's say you get up in the morning, you decide to make your bed every morning. It's cliche. Everyone says it, but it does work. Like I literally made the bed this morning, first time in like 5 months. But I'm
Because I asked you.
she did ask me to, and that's literally the only reason.
Because we were expecting someone to come over.
Exactly. But anyway, so made the bed, um, and right away it was just like an instant boost of like, oh, well that's nice. It's nice and clean and organized in here just from making the bed. And then it's like, man, okay, maybe I could get a couple other things done today. It doesn't even have to do with the gym, or maybe it could even be studying. Like, hey, I studied for 2 hours today. Like, wow, that's a lot. Let me quiz myself. Wow, I got a lot of these right. Like, that's
I think
that's
allowing
awesome.
yourself little rewards as you go too is really
Yeah,
helpful. Um, I mean, that's not entirely towards like a mindset, but that's more towards I feel like motivation. But I feel like it kind of goes along hand in hand with what you just
yeah.
brought up.
Well, one of the worst parts was when I was going through high school. It was like I'd study for a test, right? And it's I'd set those small goals. It's like, all right, I'm gonna study for an hour, and then I'll quiz myself, see how I do. And I'd study for an hour, I'd quiz myself, I'd fail the quiz, and then I'd be like, all right, you know what? I got 2 right out of 30. That's not bad. All right, that's pretty solid. All right, we got a baseline, right? And then so I'd go back, study like 2 more hours, come back, take the quiz, 4 right. I just increased by 50% in my answers right. So that's a 50% increase.
Maybe.
Anyway, yeah, I did because yeah, yeah. So I passed, but it was a positive mindset that I had. I maintained it, but it didn't work out. So
You know, I feel like that
that was a terrible
sorry.
example, man. I really blanked there. That shows how well my high school went, huh? Hey, cut that. Clip this one. Clip this one. Wait, I'm the person that never. Yeah,
Anyways,
yeah. I'm sure someone can relate.
I'm sure they can.
Yeah.
You know, I
At
feel
least I
like I
did the.
related
I got the
on
math
a
right
scale.
though, because I increased my answers right by 50%.
Anyways, you know, I feel like there's a point that I wanted to bring up from the example that you had prior about overachievement and how that can negatively influence your
Yeah,
mindset.
yeah,
Because I feel like nowadays, a lot of us, when we think of achieving our goals, we want to achieve them as fast as possible. And that's really difficult, especially if like you have a view of an achievement or like of success and it's based on what someone else wants of you.
yeah.
And like
Well, because they're not your own goals.
exactly. And I feel like it's just kind of discouraging, especially once you get closer to that finish line. Like that was kind of a big reason like why I didn't continue in the healthcare setting. Um I think because like when I went to college, um my parents they kind of told me they're like you want to get a good job, so you want to go get your college degree, go get a good job that pays well. Um and I mean, don't get me wrong, it was definitely healthcare was definitely something that I thought like I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But I was just kind of going for whatever made the money. And so I was like, "Oh, I'm going to go the PA route because that
Yeah.
makes the money."
Well, that's the tough part too, is because if you don't end up liking it, and then you put years into, trying to get your degree to be able
Mhm.
to do it, that's kind of tough. That'd be I feel like that would be a hard setback.
It was. And I felt like that was a level of success that I felt like my parents had for me what when I mean it was a success for me to graduate college, but
Yeah,
it
that's a
wasn't I felt like when I did graduate college, I didn't feel as achieved as maybe what my parents felt. And it's nothing bad against them because when they were growing up, that was the thing that they were supposed to do is, go to school and get a good job. And but for us nowadays, it's like like I have a college degree and I mean or like many people, we get a bachelor's degree and it's like uh you're not really where you think you should be, you know?
Yeah, because I mean, then again, you just dedicated 4 years, but then at the same time, you also have zero experience in a
Yeah.
job field. But it's hard to get that when everyone's like, "Hey, you need experience in it." Well, I just went to college for it, and no one's willing to take me on. How am I supposed to get experience
Hmm.
for this?
Right.
So, and that could be a major setback for like, man, I can't get anything rolling. I don't know what I want to do, and that's a hard thing too, is figuring out what you want to do.
It is. It is. And I mean, I always tell people that I know just as like advice, I'm like, if you don't know what you want to go into, like if you want to go to college but you don't know what you want to go do, I'm like, start at a community college. You're not going to pay as
Yeah.
much. You're going to kind of get more of an understanding of, um, because those first couple years you're doing like your basic classes, like your gen eds, and um, so it's like might as well take them out of school that like the tuition's not as expensive, and sometimes the professors are even better too. I mean,
I mean, I had a really good experience at my community college. I mean, all the professors were pretty solid. I mean, there was
yeah.
onesies and twosies, but man, I mean, they really helped me along when it came
I
to
definitely had my good professors and my bad professors.
yeah, as to be expected though.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean that's bound to happen in
yeah,
community college as well. I was just saying that, like, if you go to a community college, I feel like you get a better grasp of all the variety of things that you can go into compared to just going straight into um, a university and you're paying all this money and you're working on these gen eds. And then maybe you get past those gen eds and then you're like, oh, well, now I'm finally starting to get into what I want to get into
yeah,
towards like my junior year, and now now I realize I don't think I want to do this anymore.
yeah.
It's definitely a big setback, and I feel like that was something that I went through. Was by my junior year, I kind of was like, I don't know if I want to continue with this, and so I tried to switch out of it, but it was so difficult to switch out of. At that point, I just kind of kept going with it, and by the end, I was so drained
Yeah.
that I just wasn't even excited that I was graduating. I mean, it was exciting
Yeah.
when I got to walk across stage and get my diploma and everything,
Mhm.
but uh, I was so burnt out. So burnt out.
Well, that's because I've heard a lot of people talking about, trade schools, or they're like, "Hey, join the military. Join the military." And it's like, that's what I ended up doing. And then you end up signing, it could be a 4 to 6. I mean, it could vary on how long the contract is that you sign. But that's one thing I wish I would have um not I mean, I'm glad I did it because I wouldn't change anything. I would never go back and change anything. Um But you get if you don't like it, you still have 4 years
Hmm.
of, hey, I'm sorry you don't like it, but hey, guess what?
You're
We
kind of
have you
stuck.
for 4 years. You're stuck here. Um, and that's when you kind of just take a step back. It's like, all right, let me learn as much as I can while I'm here.
Hmm.
You know,
And I feel like that's a positive way to look at it because some people are gonna be like, oh, I got 4 more years left,
yeah.
and it's just gonna drag out. But the
I
way that
have
you said
seen,
it,
yeah.
oh, I'm sure
I mean, you
everyone's
were
been
with
there.
me, yeah. I mean, it does like those last 2 years. I mean, I know a lot of guys that ended up staying and they really loved it. Happy for them. That's just that's something they enjoy doing. For me, I just needed that better family life balance, um, and it was like, man, I was in that moment of just like, gosh, dang, when is this gonna end? It's like, man, I had the app on my phone counting down the days,
Yeah, you did.
and it's like you'd get to like 2 months and it's just like, holy crap, I still got 2 months. It's like instead of me thinking like that, I should have been like, let me enjoy this time with my friends that I have down here. And I really did. I tried to go out a little bit more.
I think you really realized that when it came close to the end too. Like those
Yeah.
last 6 months that you had when you were in, I think it really started to kind of take a toll and you were like, oh my gosh, I'm running out of time to hang out with my friends and make some memories with them.
Yeah, that's for sure. I definitely like while you're in, you make some of the best friends that you'll ever have in your entire life. If you guys are watching this, which you probably are, I miss you guys. I'll never forget. I always had a good time. So I'm definitely, I would never not stay in touch with them. But yeah, yeah, it's I wish I would have taken that step back a little sooner and been like, yeah, I might not enjoy being here right now, but I wish I would have taken a little bit more time to step back, learn, and then really get more involved in what I was doing. I kind of took a step back while I was there because I was so close to getting out. I was just like, I'm gonna take this step back, and it's like, man, I could have been, a lot more involved. So, but anyway, it's all about. I mean, mindset. It's huge. You have to be able to work with yourself. Really, you have to work with yourself and through different situations, and
Hmm.
hopefully you have a support group. Family,
Yeah.
friends, a dog, a cat. If you're a fish, maybe if you
Whatever it takes.
exactly. So
No, I think that's actually really important is to have a firm foundation, um, whether it's family members, whether it's your friends, whether it's um, your partner, whoever,
yeah,
like, or like you said, a pet of some sort. It's really important, especially when you do have those times when you're having a setback or a negative thought, and you have someone that's who can also help you with keep those positive thoughts rolling in and fight
yeah.
back against those negative thoughts because you can't do it by yourself. You really can't. I mean, it's really
It's a lot
difficult.
harder, that's for sure.
It is really, yeah, I shouldn't say you can't do it. It's definitely a lot harder. But I actually have a really cool fact that I found when I was doing some research.
I think I know what one this is.
You might. So according to John Hopkins Medicine, right?
Nope, not at all. Not at all what quote I thought it was. Did you?
I didn't say a quote, I said it was data.
Oh,
But anyways,
that's my bad.
anyways, so according to John Hopkins Medicine, people with a family history of heart disease who had a positive outlook were 1/3 less likely to have a heart attack or any other cardiovascular event within 5 to 25 years than those who had a negative outlook.
Really?
I think that's crazy because it's physical proof saying that if you have a positive mindset, your outcome is going to be so much better and you're going to achieve that outcome much quicker than what you're than if you kept going with that negative mindset.
Well, that's like that reminds me a lot of like the placebo effect, to where it's
Yeah.
like if you think this medicine is going to work for you,
Hmm.
it probably will. If you think you can do this, you probably can.
And it probably is. That's probably the whole point of why we have that
Yeah.
positive look on life because if we don't, then those negative thoughts are just gonna happen.
I know I know there's got to be a study out there somewhere with placebos and how they work. Because I mean, man, they've been around for so long. But I mean, if you can trick yourself into being like, man, I can do this. I mean, for the podcast, we really were like, we didn't even really. I mean, we talked about it for a couple months, and then all of a sudden we're over at Best Buy, and then
Looking at mics.
it's like, hey, should we just bring these home and then we'll start? And it's like, all right, so now we bring home two mics, and we're sitting here like, what else do we need?
Now what?
So yeah, if you like almost trick yourself into being like, hey, I can do this, and then who knows, you might be amazing at it. It might be worth a shot. It might be worth a shot.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So now I think the people want to know, how do we plan on implementing a new mindset into our life?
man, that's over time, over time, because
Yeah.
it's gonna change so often. I feel like because there's some days where um, I'll have a great outlook on everything. It's like, man, I'm ready to kick this day in the butt. I got all this stuff ready to rock and roll. I'm gonna go to the gym today. I got all this to clean. I'm gonna organize like my office or my vehicle. I'm gonna take that out, wash and get it clean. And then it's like later that day, it's like, okay, I'm just gonna relax and watch a movie or something today. So, but as far as implementing it goes, I mean, it's just a step by step, day to day. You have to take it day to day.
Mhm.
I feel like is the best advice that I would give myself, and I know probably for us.
I think one thing that I listed was working on our patience because
Yo,
uh we are just like society, you know, we want things fast. We want results fast. And I think we really need to, like you said, take it day by day
yep,
and learn, you know, that it doesn't have to come so quickly. Like, and in fact, it's going to be better if we stay patient and stay patient with ourselves. So that way we can actually enjoy the process as well, as long as reaching our goals.
that's like also, if I end up, pulling up to a red light, someone's trying to get out, and I'll let that person go, right? And then there's another person behind them, and then maybe I'll let them go, but maybe I'm like, all right, we'll do the zipper effect, I'll let one go, and then that way I can take off as well. And then you have that one person that pulls out, and it's like now that they're like, what is it, horizontal or vertical to the way that you're there. So their car's here. You're pulling up and you let the one guy go and they're like, all right, I'm gonna take this shot. And you didn't plan on letting
So
him go.
like let they cut in front of you type of
Yeah,
thing.
pretty much. And then they end up cutting in front of you. They're just, sitting there and waiting for the light to turn green to turn. And sometimes it's like, you know what? I'm gonna let him go. But man, you're just sitting there. It's like, come on, really, really. But I mean, in the end, what is it, like a couple of seconds that you might be sitting there longer? It's really not worth getting worked up over.
See, I have to do that every single day when I come home from work. There's when you're turning onto the highway near where we live, you have to it's two lanes of traffic and you have to merge into one. But there's also a third lane that they're supposed to yield, but half the time people don't yield or they just
Yeah,
don't know what it means and they just like zoom in front of you and it's like, yo, you have a whole line of cars coming and you have a yield sign. It's so frustrating. And then when people don't like either let you in or like they just kind of butt out in front of you, and it's like
yeah.
our road rage is a little much.
It's when I come back and I start pouring out the old smoky Tennessee whiskey. Take a seat out on the patio. But yeah, no, that's But as far as implementing it goes, it's really difficult to say where to start. I think you just develop the method that works for you over time.
Yeah, and I mean, we have each other to keep us accountable as well. So when we do see each other, you know, kind of dipping into a negative mindset, at least one of us can be like, "Hey, like, look, there are positives to this. Let's kick out those negative thoughts. Let's think a little bit more positively about this situation." And so I think that's going to help us a lot too, is just, you know, having that support.
Yeah, yeah. If you have any family or anything like that that has your back, or even a partner, talk about such a lifsaver. It helps out so much. So I definitely know I would not be where I'm at today if I hadn't have met you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, no,
Um,
I feel like our lives would have been 100% different.
Probably. I would probably maybe still be in. Who knows?
Yeah, we definitely wouldn't be married if we didn't know each other, obviously.
I'm surprised she married me to begin with. She puts up with a lot.
I mean, you also have to put up with a lot.
I was hoping she was gonna say that. That's where we have to work on patience every once in a while. It's
With each other.
like,
Yeah.
woman, I love you, but man, I'm gonna get me some Tennessee whiskey.
Let me go grab my bottle of Moscato.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then later, she takes that same bottle. I know you can't see it if you're listening through Spotify, but
Oh
she
my
beat me up
gosh.
pretty good.
I did not. It was a complete accident. He's talking about the scratch that's under
You know
his
what? Why
eye.
don't we get into that story? We're on mindset, right? So, are you cool if I tell them the
Are you gonna
story?
tell them the truth?
Yeah, of course, of
Mhm.
course. So anyway, me just minding my own business, being the amazing husband that I am. We have a Nerf gun here at the house, and
It's not a normal Nerf gun. It's one of those one that has like those, they look like little mini golf balls. Like those little
they're the,
foam
the little
balls.
circular ones. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
They hurt bad. Like they leave welts.
They are. It is.
I don't know why
It
they
is
sell
not
that
that.
to children.
It is not that bad. And
I
anyway,
have a picture on my phone of a giant welt that it left.
Oh, is that the one on me?
Yeah.
She point blanked me. Yeah, we can get into that story too. So at least I had some distance to soften the blow a little bit. But anyway, before you started going on, the so she's laying there on the couch. We have this nice little sectional in our living room, and she's laying there. And of course, I have the Nerf gun. It's just sitting on the table, and I walked over and I grabbed it. And I mean, come on, who can resist? I mean, she's laying there. I'm like, yeah, this is, oh yeah, I gotta show that's one of the ways I show my love, is being annoying sometimes. And so so she's laying there. I walked over and I was like, hey, get into the room. I was just doing it as a joke. I was like, hey, get in there. My whole idea was, I'm gonna get her in there, and then, I'm gonna kiss up on her a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And
No.
100%, that's what I had planned.
My thought was that you were gonna put me in there and kiss my sides because you know that's like torture to me. He does that almost on a daily basis. He tries. And it's actual torture. I'm so ticklish. And you use that against me.
I don't at all. I would never exploit that.
So that's exactly what I thought you were thinking.
That's a placebo effect. You just think you're ticklish. If you didn't think you were ticklish, that's something we're gonna prove, guys, is that if she thinks that she's not ticklish, we're gonna see if the placebo works.
I don't want to go through with that.
That's something we'll have to test.
I don't want
Anyway,
to go through with that test.
anyway, let me finish the assault that
Okay. It wasn't
and
not assault.
it felt like
whatever.
so she ended up, not wanting to go into the room, and I was like, all right, I gave like 500 warnings. I was like, I didn't want to shoot her in the butt cheek with the Nerf gun, but when you leave me no other choice, I pulled the trigger, and
That hurt.
it hit her
Really bad.
right in the butt cheek. And then I have never seen anyone jump off a couch faster in my life. And I ran for the stairs, and all of a sudden I feel this, she grabs
I
the
was trying to grab the Nerf gun from his hands. Otherwise, he was just gonna keep shooting at me.
it was one shot.
You kept aiming it at me.
Right into the right butt cheek. I remember. And
It hurt.
so
It hurt
anyway, so
bad.
she reaches for the Nerf gun, and all of a sudden my vision's blurry. And thank goodness she was just below my eye. Otherwise I probably wouldn't have my right eye with me today.
I was just reaching for the Nerf gun, and my fingernails just scratched like above, right on like your cheek, just under your eye. He's a little dramatic.
If you're listening on Spotify, it's like, I mean, don't go to YouTube when I tell you this, but I mean, it's like a long, long cut. If you're already watching on YouTube, go to Spotify to hear this part. But I mean, it's like a tiger attacked me or something like that.
Yeah, okay.
But anyway, so fellas, if you've ever had, a story like that, or even wives, girlfriends, anything like that, if you guys are, even if you're not with someone, if you've ever had, attacked someone with a Nerf gun and then been attacked back, make sure you let us know. And
I think it was a healthy fight.
it was healthy for her, not for me, because I will probably need to see a doctor.
It's just a scratch.
I'm
And then
sure I'll-
I fixed it up for you after we were done. After I grabbed the Nerf gun out of
you
here
did. She poured some Old Smoky Tennessee right into the
and put a bandage right on it.
exactly. It fixes everything. You can drink it and it heals you. This is not medical advice, by the way. So, but anyway, yeah, back on topic. I completely took us way off there. So that's my bad if you're listening.
That's all right. We told him in the beginning that we would tell that story.
Yeah, we did. We did. It's a good one though. It's a good one. And I wanted to tell everyone why the scar was still fresh. So, what's next?
Understanding why we want to do this for ourselves.
I really don't know anymore.
That is terrible.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, I just think that like, starting fresh, relearning some of the things that like, um, relearning things so that way we can actually set ourselves up for success, rather than, tanking ourselves. Because like we told with the gym story before, like I had so much negative thoughts that I would constantly give up right then before I even started. And so Now I would really like to start fresh and relearn how I can implement a more positive outlook to change my outcomes.
I think you honestly pretty much summed it up. Hey, could you read the question one more time though?
Understand why we want to do this for ourselves.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense of what you were saying. No, I just wanted to refresh that because sometimes
Uh-huh.
I was still thinking about the whole I thing.
It's
Um,
okay. He doesn't listen to me half the time.
what'd you say? Anyway, man, I just blanked on it again.
It's
This
all
was my
right.
high school. Why am I coming here?
It's all right. I'll carry. I'll carry.
So, but no, one more time.
Understand why we want to do this for ourselves.
There it is. I think one of the biggest things for us, and it could be the same for you guys as well, is we just we want to improve. I want one day to already started our dream of doing a podcast
Mhm.
together, just sitting down having just like it's like just a normal conversation. It's nice to just sit down and be able to have that and to be able to work on our dreams right now together. Um, I think that's how we've been really implementing it into, what we've been doing or, how we want to do it.
Mhm.
And just taking those small steps and being able to, lay that foundation of, mindset and then, we'll get into a few others that helped us get ready to do this. Um and yeah, just watching it slowly grow, I think has helped us. You want to do that, drive into a little bit more. But I want to be financially successful. I want to be a lot healthier. I want to be in better shape. I want to be obviously I want to boost my education a little bit. This episode is man really hit me. I don't know if it's a Tennessee whiskey. I don't the sponsorship might be if you do try and sponsor
No,
us.
it's probably the fact that we've filmed this episode 3 times now.
This is our third time filming it. We have had a lot of technical difficulties.
Yeah. But
So
it's the first episode. Well, now
it
that we
is.
understand what we got ourselves into,
So
now we can move on
we
from
just
it.
hope that you guys are having a good time hanging out with us. So
We really had to keep a
oh
positive
my god.
mindset when we would film the episode and then we'd replay it back and we'd be like, the audio wasn't working. The audio wasn't working.
We were using two USB mics in the beginning, so we ended up having to switch those out. And then we had some issues with the XLR mics that we're using currently. We thought you had to power them with the USB.
No, don't say we.
We're a team, and we thought we had to power them. That's that negative mindset coming in there. Did you see how fast she just abandoned me? Anyway, we plugged in, and you need to start working on that right now because they're seeing this live. Not live, but they're gonna see it. I'm keeping this in. And so we plugged in the mics, end up filming an hour and 10-minute episode. Nothing crazy. And I go back, look at the recording, and it's like, oh my gosh. This I so her mic was picking up everything. So I'm over here just like it's like the Grand Canyon. I'm just shouting across trying to talk to the mic, it was just crappy audio. We're not gonna put that out. It drives me insane, so I'm sure it would drive you guys insane too.
Oh yeah, and
So
with this being a podcast, I think audio is probably the most important thing that we have set
it
up.
is, but did you guys see how fast she abandoned me when we tried to fix the audio problem? Anything that goes wrong, hey, that's just on me. That's why I keep drinking the old smoky Tennessee whiskey.
We didn't give up hope at first. I think that's a step in the right direction.
A bope.
Hope.
Oh,
We didn't give up hope.
we didn't. We maintained hope and a positive outlook through a negative lens.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that
That
makes sense.
it does. We were positive, but everything that was happening was negative. So all I was seeing was negative stuff going on. But I kept a positive outlook on it, and we didn't give up hope.
We didn't. We didn't.
Anyway,
Anyways, I think to summarize this episode, you know, we have the importance of mindset. We found out that it is much more valuable than it seems. And especially when you're just kind of told to work hard and stay motivated, I feel like we end up kind of being really disappointed in ourselves when we're just solely focused on that to try and reach our goals. Um, and not just our goals, but also like with our health and whatnot. Keeping that positive mindset is really gonna boost your outcome. And those setbacks shouldn't hold us back. We keep our support systems and we keep that positive mindset to push away those negative thoughts that we have and uh, keep on going.
I also isn't there a Captain Jack Sparrow quote in there?
We do have a Captain Jack Sparrow
I
quote.
think there is. I was just thinking about that because the last time we filmed this, she said it wrong.
I didn't say it wrong, but
It was in. You got to
here,
do the pirate voice too while you do it.
okay.
It's very
Well,
entertaining and it
this
sounds good.
quote from Captain Jack Sparrow.
Ooh,
Uh,
very
the
nice.
the problem is not the problem. The problem is your attitude about the problem. And I do 100% agree with that. I mean, if you have an attitude about like a negative attitude your
All the time.
towards your problem, then
I'm her problem.
there's no way that you can have a positive outcome.
Yeah, I agree with you. That and I really wanted to add that in there because who doesn't love Captain Jack Sparrow?
And we kind of just got really into the topic, so I kind of just went over it. But
I knew you were
anyways,
skipping something. I knew you were skipping some because that's a good quote.
it is a good quote.
So
I did want to put that out there. But anyways, next week, we kind of want to tease you guys with the next episode for next week is implementing new risks into your life. So look forward to that episode next week.
not the board game, but real life scenarios. So just not to get it confused. Also, Risk if you would like to sponsor this. But yeah, no. So next week we'll get into Risk. What we've done as far as the risk going into the podcast that we're doing currently.
Mhm.
Um,
And other big life choices that we've had to make,
yeah,
but definitely tune in for that. And again, I want to mention we have all of our socials in the description, along with that email that you guys can ask us questions, give us advice, tell us your stories. We want to be a part of this journey with you guys and as you follow along with us. So please, 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 we would love to answer some of those questions.
and if you guys like this podcast, let us know. 100% let us know if there's anything you would like to see changed, added into it. Um, because another thing that I was thinking about doing for this podcast was, we want to set the foundations, have a couple of serious conversations. Today we joked around quite a bit. We had a couple of serious conversations. But I also want to just have, maybe if you guys are interested and you guys just want to have a podcast of us just coming in, just having a conversation about the day. Maybe we'll talk about a movie topic. Maybe we'll talk about, a couple of videos we saw that day. Just to hang out. Let's talk about something. Take off our minds off of, the day a little
Yeah,
bit.
take our mind off of life a little bit, actually just enjoy each other's time while we go
Yeah,
through
yeah,
good
because that way we'll have a couple serious episodes where we talk and kind of get to lay the groundwork, and then we kind of
Mhm.
get to mess around with just having a little bit of fun. Even though we did this episode as well, it'd be a whole episode of us just kind of um, joking, smoking and joking, pretty much.
Smoking and
So,
joking.
yeah. And that way, you guys on that podcast, if you're old enough to drink, have a drink with us. We'll sit down, go through. We'll answer some of your questions if you put them in, and talk with you guys. And then, if you're not old enough to drink, pull up a chair, pull up a juice box. We're still chilling. And yeah, yeah. So, but thank you guys for joining us today. We look forward to having you guys for the next episode. So, yeah.
Yeah, thank
Anything
you
you have?
so much. No, I don't have anything to add. I just want to thank you guys so much for listening. And please share this episode with, friends, family, whoever you want to join in on all of our journeys.
Really, really, yeah, because we want you guys to come along with us. So um, let's do this together and let's have a good time. I'm excited. This has been a lot of fun so far.
It has.
Sometimes this has been a pain in the butt sometimes, but it's worth it. It's worth every minute. So,
It is. But anyways, I'm Casey.
and I'm Garrett, and thank you for joining us today on the Day to Day podcast.
Bye.